Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to languages for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to Masks of Nyarlathotep in the Egypt chapter. And so when last we left our, we'll say intrepid, because they had been moving before, intrepid investigators, they had, some of them anyway, had dossed down at a temple, which Miss O'Shea had helped lead them to. So that way the body of the mummy, Nitocris, could be settled here inside the temple. When we last left them as well, they had been being fed, had been afforded all sorts of creature comforts as far as the remote temple in the desert could allow. And then while Jack and Lillian and Sam were outside, they had heard some sort of strange bird screeching overhead. And so, why don't we introduce you to our cast tonight? To my right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Meave O'Shea, and things are going to get fun.
I mean, things have been fun, I believe, but we're going to get more fun tonight, which is great. To Miss O'Shea's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and I feel much better after, getting some rest and getting first aid or some medical done by the doctor and having a little bit of food.
Yeah, you're right as rain, fit as a fiddle.
Almost.
At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and despite my previous positive attitude, it looks like there is going to be a spot of trouble.
I mean, it's definitely possible. We'll at least put it in the realm of possibility, yes?
Yes.
Very good. To Mr. Doyle's right.
This is Lonnie, and I am playing Adelsar. And if there's no immediate action, I have some rather pointed questions for people.
Yeah, we'll find out, right? To Otto's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tartenbach. And, Jack, if you are seeing spots, perhaps you should see a doctor.
It's a fair recommendation from you, sir. And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex playing Saint-Perron, who, considering the potential for aerial predators, is glad he brought a helmet.
Sam seems like the fellow who plans ahead. Perhaps that will pay off. And so the three of you outside do hear this bird shrieking overhead. And it is this raptor sound, right? High-pitched on the air. And so just giving a look into the air around you, which is fairly natural reaction, you don't, at the moment, see any bird. It's possible the temple is obscuring it, or it's coming from a direction yet you can't see. My question to you three outside is, what are you doing?
I will turn to both Jack and Lillian and kind of like holding my my hand over half my face. I feel like we're being watched. Like we're being seen. Do you understand?
Yeah, why don't we just withdraw undercover?
I'm going to take a look around to see if I can see anything. Not like get up and walk around, but...
Yeah, I mean, as I said, visually speaking, just looking around in the air, you don't see it. It's getting a little darker out, so it's evening now. It's not fully night yet, but you could still see a dark bird, especially something like a hawk. You would be able to see it against the sky here, but for the moment, you don't see anything.
Hey, Lillian, why don't you go get the others?
She was debating on whether saying a smart-ass comment back to Jack, but she just nods and gets up and goes back inside. And I go back to where Meave and the doctor and Otto are.
Okay, so we'll walk with you. We'll keep that camera angle, and then I'd like to know from the three of you who are inside eating and drinking, what are you talking about? What are you commiserating on?
Doc is very quiet, but is he seems to his brow is a little furrowed. It's like he's trying to remember something while he's eating. So he's not talking a whole lot.
I don't really have anything to say.
I had a dream.
You had a dream?
Last night. Yeah. But do you know how, like, when you have the dream and then you wake up and it dissipates like candy floss, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That is what has happened to me this morning. I only surmised that it was something wonderful. I know that it left me with a feeling of wonderment. But more importantly, I do remember a message, perhaps to myself, to my waking self, that there's more to do here. That it is Nyarlathotep is not the end. We do not need. I mean, it is important what we are doing, but this is not the goal. I think perhaps there's more to do here.
Well, I would agree. I mean, we can't just let Omar keep doing what he's doing. We can't just let the Brotherhood be. I mean, if you look at all the other places we've been, we've dispatched the leader so that the rest would dissipate.
Yeah. Well, I think that is being what we are going to be doing here of some sort. But I'm feeling that, yeah, we're going to be coming to an answer quite soon.
Oh, I'm sure.
Any minute now, perhaps.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Well, yeah, utterly, of course.
What are we doing here?
Well, as I say, I feel we will know soon. Sometimes we must be patient.
Wait, we know this is an artifact of great power, evidently, according to Omar.
Yeah.
We took it out from under his nose. He is currently chasing us across the desert. We brought it here.
Yeah.
I don't know what here is. I barely know where here is. Now, what are we going to do with this powerful object that he has a crew of murderous thugs and his own very powerful self looking for?
I'm assuming we're going to use it to help protect Egypt and to help to push the Brotherhood out.
So we don't know.
I have an idea. I have been told.
Doc pours Audle some tea.
If you look around, the speakers have been around for a long time. And those speakers brought peace to Egypt for a very long time. And then the Black Pharaoh moved in. And they lost. I'm not going to have them lose again. We need to protect Egypt.
I'm not against the idea of protecting Egypt. And in doing so, protecting ourselves and hurting Omar. My question is what are we doing here? Because right now, while we're here, everyone is hurt. We're low on numbers. If he finds us here, how do we stop him from taking the body a second time?
Anyway, we have to.
You have to have faith. You have to know where the power comes from, and you have to use it. I will be of more help here than I would in some smelly hotel room.
But if we don't know what we're doing, how can we do it? If we don't know what we're supposed to facilitate, how do we facilitate it? This is my question.
I told you somebody was coming. No, you are not privy to all the information. Either you sit with that, or you find somebody else to go help.
Sometimes you have to be patient, even when the solution is not obvious or apparent. He pours Meave some tea, and then himself. Now, drinks the tea. You will need your strength for what is coming, I'm sure.
I will stand up and grab my bedroll and say I will go see how the outside is doing.
Speaking of that, the outside comes towards you in the form of one Lillian Lane.
Otto,
Yes, madam.
I think we need to grab the doctor and Maeve and go outside.
Yes, they're in there.
I go walking around the corner and I'm assuming I see Maeve and the doctor eating.
Yeah, absolutely. Eating, drinking.
I'm probably still chatting.
Okay. I rush in as much as I can rush at this moment. Doctor, Meave, there's a weird noise happening outside. It sounds like a bird, but we can't see anything.
Bird?
Jack asked that I come get you. I don't know. I am not a bird expert.
I'm going to step out and then look for Tariq. Is he anywhere to be found?
You don't see Tariq.
I'll call for him towards the center of the... Like, I'm not going towards the center, like I'm going to face the center of the temple and call for him. Tariq!
He comes out a few moments later. Yes, speaker.
Have you heard the noise outside?
No?
I think something's coming.
Very well. I will inform your sister.
I will turn and head outside.
Okay. Anybody else going outside besides Miss O'Shea and Otto?
I think I'm going to go back outside.
Yeah, Doc will grab his bag and adjust his tie and head outside.
So you all kind of head outside and...
Well, I mean, I'm more in the doorway, but yeah.
I have a question, Mike.
I have an answer.
Great. So there was a while there where I was being used as, I think you called it, a dowsing rod. There was a whole bunch of just fun being shoved through my body to look for this thing. When I was up on the dune and I felt that that tingle, is it the same kind of invasion? When I was out there, I feel like maybe I was being watched, or I was being seen, or I felt exposed.
Yes.
I was trying to see if there was any sort of like correlation between that and how I felt when I was being used as a dowsing rod.
Oh.
As a spotting device, basically.
No, not directly. The feeling that you from overhead is more like there's an animal sound that you hear, high pitched. You can't see it. And it has picked out to all of you because it is so... There have been no other signs of life out here. Right? There's no... Other than the camels that are here, there's no other animals at all. It seems very devoid of life other than those things. And so when you hear something like a raptor call, it's a little shocking. And it's just kind of set your pulse up.
Well, he's proven capable of finding things and at a distance and traveling great distances. Something I say as people are kind of out there and I'm kind of nervously looking into the sky and watching the top of the dune and watching the sun.
I'd hope that this temple would have shield if you could sense it or use magic to find it.
I wouldn't know. I'll turn toward the door. Is Maeve there?
Yeah. I'm standing in the doorway.
How safe do you think that thing is here?
Pretty safe. I wouldn't have brought it here if I didn't think it was safe.
You don't think it would be safer to just destroy it? I mean, honestly.
For me? No.
What does that even mean? For you or for Yig? I mean, if anything should be clear at this point, it could be that your will might not be your own, whether you believe it to be or not. I know you mean well. I don't doubt your character. It looks like you found purpose. But to pretend that you haven't been actively deceiving these people into unknowingly carrying out Yig's will, whether your objectives align with casting out the Black Pharaoh, what else is at play here?
I haven't deceived anyone.
Okay, disregarding that.
Are we going to argue or are we going to look for this thing?
I'm asking you whose work we're doing. So if we're just trying to stop the queen from getting raised, we can destroy that thing and leave. You want to tell me this place was on the part of the protective ritual that you got from Kafur?
Yig was in it, yes.
It's a remarkable coincidence, Maeve.
Well, then you go read it. Either you trust me or you don't.
I don't trust Yig.
Well, that's fine. Then don't.
Whom you serve isn't my concern.
Obviously it is. We have more important things to do.
Yes, like Omar is coming here to take that thing, and if it's destroyed, he can't. That's what I'm saying.
If he shows up, we fight to defend it.
I'm not dying for that thing. Wait,
we fight to defend it. If it looks like if we're going to lose it, he's going to get it, then we destroy it. It just has to be the way it is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I can abide that.
Okay.
Terms are agreeable. If it goes bad, that thing's done.
Agreed. I'm sorry, Maeve. It has to be this way.
Do what you need to do.
But only as a last resort.
Greater good or Yig's will. This is on you.
No. You are not putting anything on me. And I'm going to turn around and walk inside the temple.
Alrighty.
I think you made her mad.
Doc is scanning the skies. He hasn't stopped since he got outside.
Doctor, you want to give me a spot hidden roll?
I would love to. 38 under 80. That is a hard success, sir.
There is something that you pick out there in the twilight here. There is something not in the sky. There is something at a far dune to your north. It is a bird. It's a small, maybe a kestrel-sized bird, yes? It's not in the air. It's on the ground.
And it's just standing there?
It's not even standing. It's almost like hunkered down in the sand, but you can see the top of its head and a bit of its body.
He nudges Jack. Look at that bird, Jack. Even out here in the desert. What a wonder, right? There, right there on the dune.
That's weird. That's odd. What does he think it's doing?
I don't know. It is hiding from something, yeah?
Those of you outside, now that Sigmund's pointed it out there on the almost the horizon line, you can see it. It's moving a little bit, not a ton. It's a little erratic.
It's in the sky?
No, it's on the ground. It's like
on the ground.
It's on the top of one of these dunes nearby.
Hey, Otto, is that unusual?
I'm taking a close look. Would it be possible to make a natural world roll?
Absolutely.
That is an extreme success, 7 under 50.
Otto, there's something not right about that bird.
Well, there's a lot not right about that bird.
Doc looks around for something solid to stand on, like a rock or marble piece. And he begins backing towards like the stairs to the temple, if there are stairs.
There are stairs that go down, not up.
Well, something solid. He wants to put solid ground and not sand under his feet.
Certainly.
I don't like that. This is wrong.
But I look at it, what strikes me as worse about it? The fact that it's on the ground, or it appears to be crouching, or like it's hiding from something in the air, or...
Yeah, it's almost like it's trying to hide from you.
Those are undoubtedly Omar's eyes.
I shoot it.
Alrighty.
Doc almost craps himself from the sudden gunshot.
With the 56 over 74 with the the Martin Henry. He's the Martin Henry.
Yeah, Martin Henry roll damage. Anybody else that's inside or even luring inside, you'd hear a gunshot, a rifle go off.
Again, why I'm working on the spell.
Damn. 14 plus 3? Yeah. So 17?
Mm-hmm. You perforate that bird. The camels spook.
Doc is spooked.
Do the camels run away?
No, they're tied up. They can't run anywhere.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Well, there goes the element of surprise. Doc laughs at his own joke.
Why are we shooting the bird? Because I probably hadn't noticed the bird until somebody pointed it out.
Because I'm a malicious animal murderer, didn't you know?
Oh, you did kill a cow. That is, yes.
Yes, and did you get to kill a man? You never got to answer the question.
Was it a real man? That's debatable.
What? Who did you fight?
So should we be going inside now that you shot something that probably is going to try to kill us?
This is the only entrance. So
we gotta watch. Yeah, we gotta watch the outside we have to assume that they're on their way.
While I'm inside at the center, I am going to start singing loudly and put my arms out and face towards the entrance and start calling.
To phone a friend?
Well, several this time.
Understood. So you begin your kind of long and rather throaty incantation in an ancient tongue of Aklo. And so when you start in with intent and purpose, the whole inner portion of the temple starts to kind of light up. Now, you're going to roll a d10 for me. Obviously, spend 8 MP.
Well, it's the stored. I think I have at least 40, but...
Yep, I think that's pretty close.
So I'll subtract it from that. Okay. And then a d10.
See how long it takes you.
1.
Okay. So you begin casting, and a minute later, the effects will begin.
Sweet.
So I'm going to roll a d10 on my side for something else. And that is a 4. So you will lose 4 sanity for this incantation. And you begin casting. Those of you who are outside, who are coming in either after the raptor was killed, there's something going on at the center of this temple now. And it is most assuredly focused around what Meave is doing. There are also now portions of the stonework here that are shedding light.
I'm going to get to higher ground.
Yeah, and I'm going to go stand on the other side of the doctor.
Doctor is fascinated with what is going on, so he is currently checking out the illumination coming from any of the sibyls or sigils that are around the temple up close. Adjusts his glasses, brushes off the dirt, and looks very closely at him.
But see here, Lillian, look at this. It's fascinating. It's light without heat. And the energy expenditure alone would be... I cannot even fathom. I do not understand how it works.
If I didn't feel like we were in a life or death situation, Doctor, I'd probably be just as fascinated as you are, but pretty sure I still have that pistol that Jack gave me.
Lillian, you're a pretty good shot with a rifle, right?
I am a good shot with a rifle, but I don't have my rifle here.
Follow me up to the top of the dune. I can help, and you can use the car as cover if you need to, and hopefully stay out of trouble.
Do you have a rifle?
I have a few. Would you like to see them?
I do. As a matter of fact, I would love to. I go with Sam.
I approve of this plan. Keep her safe, Sam.
Oh my God! I have Forsyth 303. I give her a Forsyth Lee Enfield, freshly cleaned.
When he hands you this rifle, Miss Lane, you recognize it. It gets you a little choked up for a moment because this is a good friend's rifle, and you haven't seen it in a while, and you were not prepared for this.
While we hold it, I'm going to look her in the face. It's one of the best shots I've ever seen. He'd want you to have this. And I shove it into her hands.
I look down and I thank you.
Don't thank me. Kill whatever's coming.
I can do that.
Miss Lane, you take the gun, and when you run your hands over it, you feel near the butt of the gun some sort of smooth over aberration to the wood there.
Where he placed his fingers?
No. Lawrence's initials are in the gun.
Oh. He would so not want me shooting this if he was here. I just smile at the memory of him.
And you head back up to see what's going on? Higher ground?
Yeah, well, the car's on top of the dune, right? So that's where we would be.
Jack, what are you doing?
Well, since I was outside, I didn't know what's going on inside. Not terribly happy that Lillian's going to be up there at the car, advanced position, but I am going to maintain my position here at the entrance.
Okay.
Next to one of the statues.
From the depths of the stonework here, Miss O'Shea, they begin to arrive. One by one, the tiniest cracks in this stonework through secret tunnels you've yet to discover, they begin to arrive. Long, short, wide, thin, all manner of snake begins to seep out from these stones. And you can feel each one of them as their own unique pinpoint of light, their own being. They're more to you than simple reptiles. You've called your family here on these stones. And it's fitting that you use the working inside a book of one of Yig's former failures. You feel yourself put this incantation out correctly.
Gotta right his wrongs.
It is your lot in life. And there is a swarm surrounding now this circular altar area where the mummy is kept. And it is swarming with snakes. At the top of the hill, Sam, when you get back to the auto, you realize that the available light is dimming rather quickly. The sun is setting now in the distance. And for you, for the auto and for everything else, the comfort that comes with the Egyptian sun, its warmth and its light, is slowly receding. And across the desert, you begin to see the tall plumes of dust. Something is coming.
I will elbow Lillian and hand her the field glasses and point.
I look across the desert, assuming I have to roll for that.
No. You have an advantage with the field glasses. You have a steady amount of time before anything comes your way. What you see are dust clouds moving in front.
It's the caravan. How many vehicles did I spot at the pyramid? It was 5?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. There was a car and a bunch of trucks.
Yeah.
Where was the doctor?
Memory serves correctly, doctor was inside the temple itself, watching what was going on.
Yes, still watching the outside, but he is basically inside the temple opening, if you want to say, like the entry stairway down.
All right, I'm going to call for you to come inside the circle.
Okay. He's got some occult chops, and he knows sometimes it takes more than one, so he will carefully enter the circle. He'll take his shoes off, respectfully, and then enter the circle.
Just walking to this circle, Doctor, is an exercise in overcoming some deep concerns when it comes to reptiles. It isn't a matter of there being a few snakes. It is a matter of there being what might be hundreds of snakes.
I will make sure that they part for him.
Oh, absolutely. They do exactly as you ask. You don't even have to verbalize it, Miss O'Shea. You simply remind them that they need to move, and they do. And that, Doctor, is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, that's almost as scary as the carpet of snakes.
Almost.
The lady making the parting the sea of reptiles there.
Yeah, and it's intentional too, right? So there's no verbal portion of it, but there's definitely intentionality with her body movements, and it sets your skin a little bit on edge, and you know that you're not sure. You're not really sure if you're ready for this portion of the event tonight.
Well, Doc polishes his spectacles for a moment, puts them back on, and proceeds to walk down the non-snaked red carpet to the main event, so to speak. Let it never be said that the Doc is going to shy away from the curiosity of science.
Doctor, it seems like you're still not feeling 100%, so if you want, you can sit behind this altar. We have plenty of protection, and I have a few other things I can do, and I will need your help to keep my wits about me.
All right. If I am to keep your wits about you, then you must promise me one thing.
What is that?
If I ask you to do something, you have to do it, okay? You cannot. If I tell you to stop, you cannot not. You cannot ignore my advice. I am your doctor, after all, Liebchen. I am here to make sure that you are safe and that you come back home with us.
Yes, but I need to make sure everybody comes back home with us.
I know, it is a delicate balance. Now, we do not have time. I will make myself safe, but I will be near at hand. All right?
I have eyes on you, don't worry.
And Doc secures himself in the position that she suggested.
It's really close to the mummy. It's just on the back side of the altar, so you get a real good look at Nyarlathotep.
How good of a look? Like enough to do a medical roll?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
A medical roll, visually, right?
Yeah. More pathologically. Yeah, that's a 41 under a 91. That's a hard success. I can resuscitate her. I think I got this. No, anything I can glean from her that we don't already know from her medical state.
She was in perfect health when she passed, visually anyway. That is the most stunning thing about Nyarlathotep's mummy, is that it is not withered and desiccated. It is not, at least seemingly anymore. Her body looks full, maybe fuller than when Jack pulled her out of the temple.
Juicy?
Juicy's not the word I would use, Doctor. I would say cadaverish, in the sense that she looks like she's recently dead.
Not thousands of years old, more hundreds of years old.
Like maybe less than that. And your brain kind of starts to get a little bit more concerned.
Okay. Well, since I'm right there, Doc takes off his tie and uses it to bind her hands, just in case.
I'd like you to make a sleight of hand roll, Doctor.
I would love to do that. It's not going to succeed, but I would love to do that. Yeah, 47 over 10.
So you reach up and you go to kind of take a binding piece of cloth, maybe some leather you might have, a string for that matter.
I was thinking he was literally going to undo his necktie and take it off like he was loosening it and such, and then take it off and like tie the hands. Doc's classy enough to wear silk necktie, and silk is hard to break.
That's right. So you reach up and you take your necktie off and you kind of unfurl it, and then you smooth it out and you creep a little forward to get to the mummy's hands, her wrists. And you reach up and start kind of lifting one of the wrists a little bit just to get it around. And you feel a presence behind you. And it's uncomfortable because it's like you realize in your brain someone is now standing directly behind you who was not there moments ago.
Doc freezes.
You hear, "My friend, I would not touch her body if I were you."
He slowly pulls his hands away and puts the tie back around his neck. I meant no disrespect, more protection, just in case things did not go as they planned, as you have planned, as things often do not in this world. Especially when one is meddling with forces I think they do not entirely understand.
Oh, I may agree with you in some portion of that, Doctor, but these forces we do understand. The Queen is here to save Egypt, not harm it.
As you say. I meant no disrespect. And he backs away but does not take his eyes off of Nyarlathotep the whole time.
Tariq folds back towards the two large stones, and you realize that in the folds of his robe, he had a very long, curved dagger. Not in his hand, but at his belt. And it doesn't take your mind very long to think about what he might have done if you'd continued.
Oh, Doc has no compunctions. He understands that, he would have killed him dead right there in the temple.
So back outside, Miss Lane, if you continue to watch this royal of dust cloud come at you, the field glasses that you're afforded for closer looks, you realize that the cloud is so thick that you're having a hard time seeing the vehicles in it. It's something that would not make sense to you.
Why wouldn't it make sense? If the vehicles were going fast, wouldn't they kick up a lot of sand and dust?
Certainly, but the dust and sand would be behind them, not in front of them.
Oh, well, that makes more sense. I can't see anything else. Just the dust.
No, and that's the problem. That's the trouble you're having, is you're trying to find detail and get numbers, but your vision is being obscured by this cloud.
Is she just staring into the glasses endlessly?
Yeah, she is. You can tell that there's a bit of a hitch. Like when she's looking hard and like,
Lillian? Lillian?
Yeah.
What's up? What are you seeing?
Things are coming, but I can't make anything out. I hand over the field glasses.
I will take a look again as they are closer now, I guess, right? How fast are they moving?
They don't actually appear to be moving that fast at all.
But there's a massive dust cloud and no vehicles.
Yeah. So like you had assumed that this dust cloud was coming and that the vehicles would be behind it, but
sure,
you cannot visually break the obscuring dust that's coming towards you. And so now you're not certain whether or not it's a dust storm or it's something else.
Is it just traveling in a straight line, or is it moving at all?
It's moving towards you. It's more, but it's not directed. It's more like it's undulating is a bad word, but it's more like it's blossoming out towards you.
What the hell? I have no idea what that is, but it definitely doesn't mean as well because it is heading this way.
Do you think we should go back in the temple?
Not to mince directions. We're on the north side of this dune. Is it coming from the south, or which direction is it coming from?
No, it's actually coming from the north.
So it's coming right at us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I will do is I will give the car a good shove and get it started again.
You can give it a shove like downhill?
No. So I'm going to hop in and I will say I'm going to drive to the south end of this valley here so that we can still have an exit. But this thing is coming right for the temple.
Yes.
Which means it's going to hit the temple before it hits the south end of that valley that it's in, which is why I'm moving the car. So just stay in for a minute. And I will drive the car to the other side, staying atop the dunes that go down into the valley that's there.
Okay. So Lillian, are you continuing to watch the dust cloud as he moves the car then?
I'm assuming if we can see that dust cloud, they can see us if we're standing on top of a dune.
Yeah, no, I know. Are you, and that's a fine assumption for you to make. Are you going to continue to watch the way the cloud goes and what it does?
Yeah, I'll pass her back the field glasses while I'm driving, for sure.
I'm not with Sam. He went and drove the car, correct?
I mean, it's up to you as to whether you stayed in.
No, I'm going to head back into the temple because they're coming straight for us. And there's way more of them, I believe, than there are of, us.
So, Sam, why don't you give me a hard spot hidden roll while you're moving the car?
Okay. That is an 18 under 85. It's a hard success.
While you move the car, you get a slightly different angle on some portion of the storm. And it proves to be helpful because you can see that there's something inside that cloud. There, you can see forms moving inside of it.
Okay. Like, does it seem moving along the ground or?
Yes. Multiple forms.
Once I get to kind of the spot opposite them is really what I'm shooting for. I will stop and get out again and really try to get a bead on whether I can make out anything about them. Are they animals? Do they appear bipedal?
They do appear, from what you can see, they appear to be moving on the ground. It seems like a collection of arms and legs are moving towards you. And it beggars belief because the arms and legs seem disjointed and even from here, it doesn't look like they're collected properly. They're not grouped properly. There are arms and legs all over the place. It's like a storm of bodies are coming towards you.
Like tumbling?
Sort of.
Okay, fair enough.
They're loping. They're not walking. They're like crouched running, but yet also tumbling over one another. It's this complete and utter chaos of flesh that's coming towards you.
And it's like a swarm?
Yeah.
If I had to make like an immediate assumption about how many there might be.
3-4 dozen.
Is Jack still at the entrance? That's where Jack is parked, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I run down.
Would I have already made it back to the entrance before Sam gets there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Run up the stairs.
What's going on up there?
There's a big dust cloud. I can't make out anything in it. I don't know what it is or how many cars or... So I thought I'd come back down here because there's going to be more of whoever they are versus us.
Okay,
But I show him my rifle. I'm like, look at what I have.
it's a lovely rifle.
No, it's just not any rifle. It's Forsyth's rifle.
He would have liked you to have it.
Mm.
Find some cover.
I take a couple steps behind. I go up the stairs a little bit more behind Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't go all the way inside. It's like cover.
It's Jack. It's like cover, except not. Sam, you arrive back down on the steps.
I'm sprinting. So there's at least 2, maybe 3 dozen. I'll call them irregulars.
Irregulars?
They are not moving like normal people would, but they're moving relatively quickly and with intent. And I'm sure they don't mean us well, and there's a lot of them.
All right. Well, I guess we'll try to hold them here.
Do I hear this conversation?
I don't hear the conversation, Maeve, but what you hear and feel in the stones of this temple is a deep and unsettling rumble. As those moments pass after Sam hits the steps, that rumbling picks up. And this is something that, Jack, you'd be somewhat familiar with cavalry. And that as weight pounds the ground, there's a definitive low and resonant rumble that starts up in the ground.
Well, I will take half of the snakes with me up to the front so I can at least see out, and leave the other half with the doctor.
Don't want to forget the doctor, of course.
Oh, thank you.
He's got to stay safe.
I love my new snake blanket.
Yes, it slithers all on its own. You all at the front door get this, in effect, front row seat to a rather powerful looking Meave O'Shea stalking towards the front door with a sea of writhing reptiles behind her. Her long hair there with the shock of white that now accents it as she comes towards the front of this temple. And the snakes only go as far as you say, Meave, so if they stay behind you, they stay behind you.
I want them to surround me, and I'm going to look out and see what we're up against.
It's hard to say. Otto, you're still outside, yes?
Yes.
You feel it first. You're the local. You're the one who's walked these deserts long enough. You feel something in the air change. And it feels like the impossible is going to happen. And that is rain. It's going to rain.
I look up.
Sure enough, overhead, there is a very large cloud, deep grays and black tones at its core. Egypt is about to get one hell of a thunderstorm.
We should go inside.
You know, for being a desert, this is the second thunderstorm we've been in since we got here.
I'm sure those facts are completely separate from each other.
If we go inside, we die inside because there's no way out.
I'm sure there's a way out. They just haven't shown it to us. They don't build these temples with one way in, one way out.
Yeah, but if we stay out here, we'll get run down.
I don't disagree. I just don't know. I don't know what the play is here.
I say we try to hold them here. They have to come through this door.
If you have enough time, perhaps block the entrance of the temple with the car. Funnel them in. Narrow their ability to come to us.
I mean, it looks like the doorway is only like 10 feet wide, right?
Yeah, roughly speaking.
I'd rather keep the car. So I guess I will climb as high as I need to get visual on the cloud.
Go ahead and make me a hard climb roll.
I would love to fail the climb roll. 85 out of 59. Oh, shit. I have to take my time here. I'm going to push it.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. I dig my heels in.
Dig your heels in.
And I hope I don't break my goods. Fuck. And I failed. 89 out of 59.
So you climb up and you get probably 8, maybe 10 or so feet off the ground after resetting your feet. And the stones outside this temple just are not able to hold you. And when they're not able to hold you, you slip and you fall.
Ouch.
And on a failed push roll, that's not great. So I'm going to deal you some falling damage.
Hopefully it's better than Shadowrun falling damage.
It is. You take 3 points of damage, Sam. And the way that you take it is the worst. So you know that position in the upper middle portion of your back, just below your shoulder blades, just say from the middle of your spine up about halfway, you get a sharp rock right there. That's what you land on. And you feel it perforate the skin and you reflexively roll off. And you think it's probably what saves you from any further serious damage. But there is a significant pop from your flesh and bone hitting that rock. And the rest of your compatriots are powerless to do anything except watch.
Then I guess I'll use one of these jagged ass rocks on the ground as cover, as long as it puts me somewhere away from the snake puddle and the swarm coming to the northeast.
The snake cuddle puddle. Fair enough. You limp over. You were not expecting your back to hurt that bad today, but so be it. On the edge of those dunes, as this cloud of dust comes closer, the rumbling increases. You begin to see forms in the night. In this dusk, as the sun has set now on Egypt, but the stray strands of sunlight still persist. You see a line of forms begin taking that position, and they are grotesque. They're hunched over forms. There's few stray humanoid features about them. They are bipedal, but their heads are mixed of strange variety of animals. And so some of you won't have to make a sand roll at all.
That's me, right?
That's you and anyone else down below the temples who saw the children of the Sphinx.
No, I think it's just me and Jack. Wait, no. Wasn't there one in the big open area?
Yeah.
So then I think the others would have seen it, maybe?
Everybody except Sam.
Correct. You see a collection of half men, half beasts with heads of oxen, crocodile, falcon, bull, and it's not possible. It's just not.
Well, I mean, I did just see one yesterday.
It's just. What do you mean? So
Roll.
You saw one yesterday. When?
The giant cat person.
Oh, that's different. This isn't a giant. These aren't lycanthropes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a 37 out of 58.
Okay. You don't lose any sanity. That's fucked up. That's what your brain says to you. Well, that's fucked up. But I saw a were-jaguar yesterday, so you're going to have to do better than that.
Are they with you all?
I call lightning.
Well, the storm isn't here yet.
You said there was a cloud. All I need is a cloud. It says all you need is a cloud.
You start casting is what you do, because it's not instantaneous. It's 5 minutes. So casting time is 5 minutes. So you start cooking.
Yeah.
So spend 10 MP.
Okay.
And then you're going to lose 1d2 sanity, which is a 2.
Of course it is.
Yep. Of course it is. The spell causes a bolt of lightning to strike where the spellcaster directs, which will happen in 5 minutes. As soon as Meave raises her voice again near here at the entrance of the temple, Doctor, even all the way back here in the temple, all of the hair on your forearms stand on end. And those of you who are outside near her can feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and the air gets a very ozone-y feel. So you start feeling almost this oxygenation of the atmosphere around you. Things start to kind of feel crispy and poppy.
Doc is experienced enough. He grabs some sand off the floor and makes a circle around him where he was sitting, and sits down in the circle. It might not be salt and it might not be chalk, but at least it's a circle, because generally speaking, if there's metaphysical blow up, he at least wants that level of protection.
Seems fair to me, sir. So, Sam, you're ready when these things come over the hill. Jack, what other final preparations are you making with Lillian?
I want to get her like behind one of these statues or something so that she has some cover in case they have, ranged weapons or whatever. And then I will get behind the other statue.
Sam, you landed on this plateau up here. So you have a slight elevation, but you also have a back wound. And then, Otto, where would you like me to place you? Just somewhere in the entrance?
Slightly behind Jake. I don't have a gun, so I'll have to pull my sword.
So this line stands here at the dune level. And you hear something, Jack, from on top of the dune. You hear a voice higher than these grunts and guttural sounding animal noises that these creatures give off. You hear a man's voice say,
"Give her body up now, and I promise all of your deaths will be quick.
We'll destroy that body before you get it.
Go. Feast upon the flesh of the non-believers."
And we'll call it there for the evening. So, thank you so much for joining us again on another episode of Masks of Nyarlathotep. We look forward to the beginning of our Egypt chapter finale series. Thank you, and good night.